I was relieved to hear that from the Browns' perspective, Myles Garrett was back at practice today.
Yeah.
I think we had all gotten to the point where we had read, reread, triple read, quadruple read, had relatives read, and then explain it to us. Mary Kay's report, where there was a suggestion that there could have been an MRI on Myles Garrett's hip. So to see that he was back today at practice, it definitely allowed us just to kind of breathe a little bit and just get back to getting hyped up for this game that could turn into a 3-sack performance for Myles.
So are we back to the extreme expectations for Myles? Are we going to put the injury to the side, or are we still going to go to this being not an excuse, but a reason for if he doesn't dominate?
That sounds like an excuse.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but if he doesn't dominate this poor offensive line.
It's his hip?
Is that, I mean, did he have an MRI? Did he not have an MRI? You tell me.
I don't think anybody definitively knows because it wasn't reported. It was just potentially suggested.
I don't think he'd get an MRI just for the fun of it, right?
I don't know what he's into.
But if is that his kink?
He just really likes being
loves MRIs.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you had that kind of body definition, you would want to see that on the big screen anyway.
How hard is he going to try to
show
sell
me your
to
tricks,
us
big boy?
How hard is he going to try to sell to us that he is dealing with something and is banged up a little bit versus what you always find with him where it's like, oh, no, I'm going to play. We're going to go.
I think not only do I think Myles will have a big game on Sunday, I think this is the rare case. I don't know that I want to definitively lock in the word need, but I've been so irritated with Myles from the leadership stuff to then everybody just being like, we shouldn't expect him to be a leader, which I think is the ultimate cop-out that we would never give to any other player in NFL stinking history in this town. But somehow Myles gets a cop-out for the leadership issues on this team, and the fact that he said he wanted to be a leader and then wanted to trade because he wanted to go somewhere to win and then settled for $40 million 5 weeks later, and then the entire offseason where he's kind of been a little standoffish at points with the media, as if we requested the trade for him and then took the money and ran. I would like to see Myles Garrett get back to reminding me why Myles is one of my favorite players, which is where you go ahead and kick ass and take
And I do have different expectations. As long as the season goes the way that we think it's going to go, I have different expectations in week 1 when the games still matter more and when the games still feel like you're playing for something instead of week 12 or week 13.
Or
when
week 5 or 6.
Yeah, when the season's just shot. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to 3-win season this year and it's week 13 or 14, I kind of get it in many ways. I do, Myles. I really do. I'm not going to hammer you there. I really won't. But week 1, when you still have the season in front of you, I need you to be your very best.
And this is a matchup that even if the other defensive linemen haven't been good, he's been great. And listen, if I'm going to say the same thing about, hey, your strengths are in their weaknesses, their strengths are in your weaknesses. Like if we talk about the matchup from that side of things, there's no easier matchup. I shouldn't say no. There are very few easier matchups on the docket for Myles on any given year than an offensive line that the Bengals have just habitually failed to ever get right. And by the way, it's not just my Myles prediction here, it's the rest of the defensive line as well. If you're going to eat over these next couple weeks, this is the game you start. Because if you can't dominate this, and it's better. It is a better offensive line than it was 3 years ago.
You still have mysteries, though.
That's because they were awful.
I know, but like Fairchild, for instance, making his rookie day, I don't know what he's going to be in that offensive line. He could absolutely stink up the joint. It's the weird thing about Joe Burrow is they've had chances to go ahead and beef up that offensive line. In fact, that was one of the most famous things they've ever done is say Penei Sewell, who, by the way, turned out to be really, really good. No, thank you. We want Jamar Chase. It worked out in Joe's favor in many, many ways. But he's always put the offensive pieces in the skill position part of the ball in favor over the offensive line. And so, like, Joe, these are the type of games you put yourself into.
Well, and I'm going to come back to Myles specifically. If this team wants to surprise, if this team listens to our show and gets consistently upset because we are we think they're a 3 to 5 win team, or other shows talk to quarterbacks and Seneca Wallace, and they all of a sudden think it's an 8-win team, or Luke McCown or Josh, any of the McCowns, Randy McCown, Timmy McCown.
Oh, did you get the invite to the family reunion as well?
Every year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many McCowns, so little time.
That's how I always say.
But if you're pissed, if you're furious, if you think we're slighting you, well, this is the show-me game. And listen, I'm not going to be the guy that after this win I go, oh, yep, all right, you're not a 5-win team, but this is the game that you go ahead and start making that case for because it's an advantageous matchup, which it's tough to say that against Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, or Pittsburgh.
These are the layups. It's not even late in the season.
Ooh, I don't love calling it a layup.
For Miles?
Oh, for Miles, okay.
It's about as easy as it gets for Miles. Like these are the easy ones. This is the matchup that you should be, chomping at the bit to go ahead and really dominate. Like this is it for you. There's really no excuses. And like again, even if it was late in the season, we could be like, well, Miles sometimes later in the year he's a little banged up, he's a little beat up, he's got this going on. He's just not as good later on in the year as he is in the early parts of the season. We've heard all that stuff. This is week 1. Go out there and show us something.
Well, and I'll continue to come back to it. Maybe need is the wrong word. I want, and as a fan, I need a reminder of why it's good business to keep Miles here.
Why $40 million is a worthwhile venture?
Well, just the whole thing. Because here's the thing. I'm going to roll my eyes every time he talks if you go 3-14. I'm going to roll my eyes
you might
every
do it
time.
Even if we go 10-7 and he looks awesome.
Well, okay, that's fair. I mean, he's kind of abused
I'm not really
the
in the business of Miles speaking and me being like, I need to hear what he has to say and believe him at face value.
Yeah, probably never again. But this is how you make up for it. And you can't make up for it by suddenly being a better leader because I just think that I'm going to accept defeat on this regard. Yeah, we no longer expect you to be a leader. We expect you to be an incendiary football player. And much like last year, where it felt like because of the injuries, because of the roster flaws, it felt like Miles most weeks was keeping your defense afloat while having feet injuries, while dealing with this, that, and the other, right? Okay. Well, keep us afloat now. And I don't think he has to carry the same weight now that he did last year. But I'm ready. I'm ready to put to bed all the nonsense of this offseason. But you go out there, if everybody else eats on Sunday and Miles doesn't, it's going to feel a little light to me, given that he's a $40 million man and it's just drugged the whole thing through the mud this
There
offseason.
is a way that it works in his favor, though, because he can obviously have a lot of pressures and he can have a lot of attention on him. He can be double-teamed, and then all of a sudden you watch someone like McGuire or Alex Wright or even Mason Graham. I know Mason Graham's not expected to have 1 million sacks this year, but have a lot of those guys then get home. And like that, there's ways that Miles can impact a game even while not getting to the quarterback at an elite rate.
Yeah, I always hate that idea of, well, you guys, you don't understand. He doesn't have sacks, but he's got pressures. It's like, yeah, okay, but what do we? It's almost like the idea of.
It's sad because we just don't have enough ways in the box score to really kind of figure out what exactly he's done.
Yeah, but sacks still matter.
Sacks do matter. I'm not trying to belittle sacks, but also he can impact a game even just by getting pressures and even just opening things up for someone like Mason Graham.
I'm not going to clap for, oh, you really opened that one up.
No, but I don't. If he disappears on Sunday, I would imagine there's probably a strong reason. I would imagine it's because the Bengals are throwing 2 and 3 guys at him at every single play.
I think you're already making excuses for Miles.
No, it's not that. This is the game he's supposed to look good in. This is the one. If there's ever going to be a game that he's supposed to look good in, this would be it. But also, if I turn around and he had half of a sack and didn't seem like his usual self in the box score, I'm sure there's going to be a reasonable explanation why. He's just too good to just be a complete no-show in a game like this.
216-474-0092 with Myles Garrett, with James Rapine openly admitting the fear of Myles Garrett. The question becomes, does Myles need a big game 1, week 1 against the Bengals? And I also think, listen, I do think there's something in Joe Burrow's head about 95. And it makes sense. Because Miles has feasted against him, and so while Mason Graham getting a sack, okay, but Joe doesn't have history with that. Joe doesn't have history with Isaiah McGuire, Shelby
Harris.
Harris.
Fear of Myles Garrett. That's the difference.
Well, but how do you get fear? You go ahead and reinforce
he's already gotten fear. He's earned the right of fear throughout his Hall of Fame career already. Well, but again, if they just put everything over on Myles, that is a way to disrupt the game while also not disrupting it with sacks.
And he's also gotten sacks when he's been double and triple team.
And he can do both.
This double and triple team is not the same thing as what you might see against Baltimore, who I feel like every offensive lineman they have is 350.
But are you not curious to find out what exactly the Bengals' response to Myles is and just how much attention they do put on him?
No, because they haven't been that smart in the first place.
But that's what I wonder. Al Golden is a different part of this, and so Sweet Lou, there's a real chance that he just didn't know what to do with Myles. I don't know that Al Golden does either, but at least it might be a different look.
Well, but it's the same offensive coordinator. It's the same O-line coach that at points has just been like, we're going to go one-on-one with Myles.
Yeah. No, it's not unfair to suggest that they don't know what they're doing with Myles Garrett. That's not unfair, but I do wonder how much attention. It's almost like the Ohio State-Texas game, where it's like, how much are they going to put on Jeremiah Smith after making sure that was their only thing they did in the semifinal game, was just locking down Jeremiah Smith?
I'll go one step further. Does Myles have to have an elite game for the Browns to win? Meaning, if anything less than elite, can he go ahead? I'm not talking just
here's
sacks.
what I know. He can have an elite game and the Browns still lose. We know that. It's more important Joe Flacco has an elite game than it is Myles Garrett has an elite game.
Show your work.
Joe Flacco having an elite game?
Yeah,
if Joe Flacco has an elite game, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, out-duels Joe Burrow, that's way more important to me than Myles Garrett having a 4-sack game.
I think you are... I don't know how to say this one without it coming out insulting. So I'm stalling. It's just
going to insult me.
I know, and now the fact that I've said it might be insulting.
Get ready to insult me. I'm on the side of points. Now go ahead and insult me.
I think your read on this. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I don't. I would be surprised.
I don't either, because I don't think Joe's going to score enough points to make it a shootout.
Which Joe? Joe Burrow?
No, Joe Flacco, and you know what Joe I'm talking about.
Well, no, I don't think Joe Burrow's going to put up a lot of points.
Joe Flacco going for 300 yards and being a better quarterback than Joe Burrow puts you in the driver's seat to win this game.
I don't care about yardage.
Myles Garrett can have 4 sacks and make Joe Burrow's life hell every other play, but it's not going to matter the same way if Joe Flacco is just tearing it up, going up and down the field at will.
Yeah, the Browns at no point should consider themselves should they consider it a smart idea for themselves to get into a shootout here. And how you avoid that is Myles and the guys do their work, and then you avoid a shootout by controlling.
I mean, we watched Myles Garrett have a 4-sack game last year that you lost to Justin Herbert and the Chargers with. We've seen him
last year. We've seen him
take over games.
At what point in the season
we've seen him take over games, and it just not even matter.
That was after the season was pretty much lost. This is the beginning of the season.
It was 2 months in. It's not like it was a crazy.
That was lost. That was after Deshaun popped his Achilles.
Okay, but it would have been in that game. It would have been so much more important for whichever quarterback it even was, because I can't even remember at this point, to have thrown for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and lit up the scoreboard instead of Myles getting 4 sacks.
I will tell you, I think Joe Flacco, the Browns, should definitely try and go out there and have a lighted up war with Joe Burrow. That seems like a way to win. That's just me.